Eggs and Issues, a monthly business forum bringing timely economic discussion to the region for 35 years. Presented by the Portland Community Chamber of Commerce. Thank you to our 2019-2020 sponsors and partners. Presenting sponsors, Bank of America and Martins Point Healthcare. Cooperating sponsors, First Light, WEX, and Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare. Community Corner sponsor, Goral Palmer. Parking sponsor, CV and Mahar Engineers. Reception sponsors, Clark Insurance, KeyBank, and Eberle. Tomorrow's Leaders and Entrepreneurs sponsors, Springborn Staffing Center and AAA Northern New England. Media partners, News Radio WGAN, The Forecaster, WMTW, and Maine's CW. Maine Biz, with production support provided by Headlight. And thank you to our 2019-20 special community partners. Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield, Spectrum Healthcare Partners, the University of Southern Maine, and Southern Maine Community College. And now, please welcome Portland Community Chamber President, Jim Cohen.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Eggs and Issues, the original monthly business breakfast hosted by the Portland Community Chamber of Commerce. My name is Jim Cohen. I am a partner with the Eberle Law Firm, and I'm honored to serve as your volunteer president of the Portland Community Chamber Board of Directors. I want to thank all of you for joining us today. We recognize this is a challenging time for social gathering given all the growing concerns about the coronavirus. So thank you for being here today, and also thank you for following proper etiquette to limit the risk of spreading germs. The Chamber certainly takes very seriously our responsibility to keep us all safe and to follow best practices. And in this regard, we are closely following CDC recommendations regarding the coronavirus and public gatherings. For the time being, this will require different behaviors around how we gather, how we greet each other, and how we serve food. I admit it feels odd to greet friends with an elbow bump or a footsie thing or a bow, but I'm going to go with the flow, and we encourage all of you to do likewise. Now, you have probably noticed that the Holiday Inn by the Bay is providing extra services today to aid us in reducing the spread of germs, so thank you to the Holiday Inn by the Bay and to all of you. I would also like to acknowledge representatives from the 2020 census who are here today. Now remember, taking part in the census is part of your civic duty and a way to ensure that your voice is counted. And you can find more information about the 2020 census at your table, and you may have seen a booth outside as well. Now, today's topic is the future workforce developing student-business partnerships. Workforce development is one of the Chamber's top policy priorities, along with affordable housing and public transportation. Along these lines, if you read yesterday's email invitation to today's event, we included information on how to get to today's event by bus. We plan to continue this practice as a way to normalize and promote public transportation, and we encourage your businesses to consider adopting this practice as well. Now back to today's topic on workforce development. We will shortly hear a panel discussion on a variety of career pathway programs currently in use in our area high schools and how your business can support workforce development in our region by getting involved. Now, I want to acknowledge here today that Javier Botana, the superintendent of Portland's public schools, is here. And are there any other public officials here that I might not have seen coming in? I want to welcome you here today. So thank you for coming, and for all of the public servants who work so hard to keep educating our students and having a pipeline for workforce development. Now, speaking of partnerships and workforce development, I would like to reiterate an incredible partnership we unveiled last month with the Maine Graduate Student School of Business and our chamber, the Workforce Partners Program. This program provides a 12% tuition discount plus other benefits to any employee of a chamber member wishing to get a graduate degree. This is an incredible offering as Maine businesses work hard to recruit, retain, and develop the next generation of business leaders. Now, please note, more information on this program can be found on your tables and the most recent Onward Chamber email newsletter. Before we move on, a quick preview of upcoming events. Next Wednesday, March 18th, features a collaborative business after hours with the Falmouth Community Chamber and the Yarmouth Community Chamber at Patriot Insurance in Yarmouth. And Thursday, March 19th, will be our Kegs and Issues with Mayor Kate Snyder from Portland at Aura in Portland. April 8th is our next Eggs and Issues, and the topic will be Owning the Solution, in-house workforce training programs. More information and registration for all of our upcoming events can be found at our website, portlandregion.com. The generosity of our sponsors allows the Chamber to continuously enhance our events. Our sponsors also help the Chamber keep up our advocacy work on behalf of all of our members, so even when you can't attend one of our events, please know we're still out there working on your behalf. So let me first give a special thanks to our Eggs and Issues presenting sponsors, Bank of America and Martins Point Healthcare, and to each of our partner sponsors who make this event possible. Thank you for your generous and continued support. And another warm special thank you to our special community partners, Anthem, Spectrum Healthcare Partners, University of Southern Maine, and Southern Maine Community College. These partners support each of the Portland Regional Chamber's initiatives as well as our entire event season. Thank you. Our sponsors make this possible. Our members give us purpose. I'd now like to take a moment to recognize our newest members to the Chamber. These organizations have all joined us within the past month. A big welcome to all of these wonderful new members. Welcome to our family. Thank you so much, and we look forward to working with you. You can learn more about these businesses and all of our members at our online member directory available at our website. AAA Northern New England and Springborn Staffing provides support for Tomorrow's Leaders and Entrepreneurs program, which allows area high school and college students to attend Eggs and Issues. With us today, we have students from, amongst others, University of Southern Maine Community College, Portland High School, South Portland High School, Falmouth High School, Portland Adult Education, and Casco Bay High School. If members of these institutions could please stand and be recognized. Welcome. Thank you. Headlight Audiovisual provides us with our technical support, and as always, the video from today's keynote presentations will be made available to today's Eggs attendees, and past videos can be found on our website and YouTube channel. Our FMI sponsor is the Portland Public Library, who will be providing more information on today's topic. All attendees will receive this information from the Chamber via email in the coming week. Goral Palmer is our 2019-2020 Community Corner program sponsor, and today's featured nonprofit organization is the Maine Jewish Film Festival. The Maine Jewish Film Festival presents compelling and engaging films that positively impact the artistic and economic landscapes of communities around the state. This year, the 2020 Maine Jewish Film Festival will take place at a variety of venues across Maine starting March 28th and ending on April 5th. The festival will feature 40 films, including documentaries, dramas, comedies, and animation, as well as special guest parties and live music. Over the years, the festival has attracted a diverse audience who appreciates the quality of the films, seeks a global perspective on timely issues, and welcomes the opportunity to engage with guest speakers from around the world. For more information about the Maine Jewish Film Festival or tickets, please visit www.mjff.org. From the Maine Jewish Film Festival, we have with us Peggy Greenhut Golden, Barbara Merson, Melinda Mullen, Eve Nelson, Rachel Reed, and David Scholder. If you could please stand and be recognized. Thank you for all of your good work. And one last note, we are again partnering with Maine Green Power to power all of our EGGS events from now through the end of the 2019-2020 season. Maine Green Power is the voluntary green power option for electricity that is available to Maine homes and businesses. Now on to today's presentation. Before I introduce our speakers, I want to remind everyone that there will be a Q&A after the presentation. So please use one of the microphones located on either end of the room. Please state your name, your organization, and then ask your question to any one or all of the speakers. Today's topic is the future workforce, developing student-business partnerships. And we are fortunate to have a terrific panel of presenters this morning, each representing different student-business partnership pathways and perspectives. Before our guests come up, however, I'd like to give you a little bit of background on each. Our moderator is Jane Eberle, Director of Community Partnerships for the South Portland School Department and board member for the South Portland Cape Elizabeth Community Chamber. Our first panelist is Michelle Anderson, President of Junior Achievement of Maine, JA. Michelle has been with Junior Achievement for over 8 years and currently oversees all of JA's operations focused on helping young people make smart education and career decisions through project-based learning and mentorship. Our second panelist is Andrea Levinsky, Extended Learning Opportunities Coordinator at Portland High School, where she organizes career exploration activities for grades 9 through 12. Our third panelist is Paul Stevens, Senior Architect at SMRT. Paul has been with SMRT for 50-plus years, and he continues to remain active in projects, marketing, in the Portland community, and also on the board of the Portland Regional Chamber. So let me join in welcoming our guest to the stage. Welcome.
Good morning. It's so nice to go out for breakfast with a few friends on this gorgeous, almost spring morning, and to see so many faces in this room of people who are currently partners with many of the initiatives that we are going to be talking to you about today. Thank you, Jim, for the introduction. And I'd also like to point out the chairman of the Community Coordinator Collaborative, Rick Wilson, Extended Learning Opportunities Coordinator from Brunswick High School, sitting in the table down front. Thank you to the Portland Community Chamber, too, for this opportunity to be in front of you and to share all this great news, exciting opportunities with all of you. We all know the ominous statistics of our diminishing employment pipeline and aging population. To the business leaders in the audience, how many of you are worried about your future workforce and how many need employees at all levels? Raise your hands. There's some hands. Today, you are going to learn how we can all join together to create a dynamic, skilled, and invested workforce of tomorrow. Whether you are a large business or a small firm, there's a way for you to get involved with business education partnerships. You will learn how you can get into the schools and how students can get into your business in a good way. I think I hear at every chamber event I go to, when people find out what my job is for the South Portland School Department, I hear from the business community, how can we get into schools? We'd love to be involved with the schools, so you're going to find out. Business education partnerships are not a new concept. but the need for these partnerships has never been greater than today. And the need is at all levels of education. Our sponsors, USM and SMCC, are deeply engaged in initiatives to connect their students with workforce experience. As Director of Community Partnerships for South Portland Schools for the past 19 years, along with my new partner, Gretchen McCloy, we serve students in grades pre-K through 12 with programs including senior internships, 8th grade job shadow, 3rd grade medical career exploration, and 2nd grade neighborhood business walks. We have a comprehensive 15-year-old partnership with Junior Achievement of Maine, which, I must add, comes to the schools at no cost. In partnership with my South Portland Cape Elizabeth Community Chamber, we do an annual career fair at the high school. On May 20th, we will be hosting our 10th annual career fair, expanding it this year to include students from South Portland, Cape Elizabeth, Scarborough, Falmouth, Yarmouth, and Greeley high schools. 90 businesses and more than 1,200 students will interact on that morning. If you would like to hear more, please contact the Regional Chamber. And thank you to those in the room who have been a career fair participant and who continue to join with us in that endeavor. 2 years ago, a few of us school partnership types, folks who are doing the same kinds of things as I do in South Portland, began talking about our programs, internships, job shadows, extended learning opportunities, career exploration pathways. The group grew. We named ourselves Community Coordinators Collaborative, and today there are 25 or so of us representing schools, districts from Kittery to Newport. Will the C3ers in the room please raise your hands? We're spread out throughout the room, so please make contact with us. Several in our group are working with the State Department of Education on the writing of career curriculum standards, and we are continually making new partnerships with businesses, organizations, and other C3ers. So here are some opportunities for you to consider. First, you'll hear from Michelle Anderson, who will tell you about the JA partnership model available to you. After Michelle, C3er Andrea Levinsky will give you specific examples of programs from the Portland School Department that exemplify the work of other C3s. After Andrea, Paul Stevens will tell you what it's like to be a host and will share with you experiences as a host of intern students. Then we will have a Q&A. Michelle.
Thank you, Jane, and good morning, everyone. I'm very happy to be here with you today to talk about the innovative ways Junior Achievement is tackling workforce development, starting at the earliest stages of our state's pipeline, elementary school. Before we begin, I'm going to share a brief video with you that highlights the impact of Junior Achievement on a student's life. And while you watch this video, I want you to be thinking about a skill you wish you had learned when you were in school. So let's take a look. As someone who spent the last 10 years working alongside educators and business people, I found there's often a disconnect between the two communities. Students are graduating without the workforce readiness skills, the soft skills, transferable skills to take on today's careers. And there's a lack of adequate career exploration education that showcases the job opportunities that Maine has to offer. And this is the gap that junior achievement aims to fill. We are bridging the gap between business and education, and we proactively partner with businesses, educators, and nonprofits to create quality-driven, impactful, relevant experiences for students in kindergarten all the way to high school, resulting in economically self-sufficient citizens capable of leading choice-filled lives. By strategically partnering with school districts, we are the solution provider for financial literacy, entrepreneurship, and workforce readiness. And we inspire, prepare, and empower young people to succeed. And we do this through innovative, age-appropriate curriculum taught in a classroom setting, delivered by role models, mentors, and volunteers, many who are in this room today. I want you to think back on your schooling and think of a mentor you had growing up. Maybe someone at school, someone who helped put you on the career path you're on today. And that's really the role of junior achievement volunteers. They're adding in their own life and work experiences to these lessons that they're leading. They're planting a seed for future success, helping students make the connections between what they are learning in school to their future. We're working really hard to diversify our volunteer base, so that's really reflective of the job opportunities that Maine has to offer. Now, our volunteers are trained on the curriculum, and through a one-day experience, through multiple visits to a classroom, or a group of students coming to your place of business, a classroom of kids experiences a JA program that is led by that volunteer. And while every industry is seeing these workforce development challenges, we are partnering with businesses of all sizes. This is a great early recruitment tool and great professional development opportunities to really enhance employee engagement. And so practicing public speaking and time management and leadership skills, these all come into play when a volunteer is delivering junior achievement. And it's the reason that we've been able to partner with Bangor Savings Bank and Bank of America and MEMIC, Clark Insurance with junior achievement. They can help promote our volunteer opportunities to their employees. A junior achievement student recently spoke to a group of business people at an event we had, and her volunteer was from Machias Savings Bank. And she said to the group, "I realize I don't need to like math to work at a bank." She said, "I love helping people. I could work in their customer service department." And what a powerful statement and realization for a middle school student to have, seeing what her skills and interests are and how that can be part of a Maine company. Our goal is for students to better understand what their skills and interests are as early as elementary school and how that can translate to a future career. Now, I've been asked quite often, why is junior achievement not in every single classroom in our state, given that our programs come at no cost to our educational partners? And it comes down to resources. We need the financial and volunteer resources to deliver more quality programs to more students in our state. And to give you a scope of our organization, we are a team of 4. We're based here in Portland, but are truly statewide. We have programming from York to Aroostook County. This academic year, we will impact close to 18,000 students in 200 schools in our state with the help of about 800 community volunteers. And with a school district we partner with, we meet at a superintendent level, and we bring in principals and curriculum specialists, and we showcase our pathway approach to programming. And based on the needs of the district, we build this educational ladder. So what we have in Portland is different than what we have in South Portland and Westbrook and Presque Isle. The partnership is really filling a need that these school systems have, and how can Junior Achievement's curriculum be an enhancement to what school districts are already teaching? It also comes down to impact. And the biggest impact Junior Achievement programs have is reinforcing that value of staying in school and bringing relevance to education. What our students are already learning in school, and why do they need to know it? You think of the students across our state that might not have working parents. We are challenging the cycle of poverty and really helping students gain the skills and knowledge around future financial freedom. When surveyed this past academic year, 97% of our volunteers would refer a friend or colleague, and 95% strongly agreed it was a positive experience and made an impact. Now, the slide up here is a National Junior Achievement Alumni Study conducted in 2016. The most staggering stat up here, 1 in 5 Junior Achievement alum go into the same career path as their volunteer. Talk about a return on investment and truly helping broaden students' sense of opportunity. So if you're sitting here thinking, how do I get involved? There's no Junior Achievement without our volunteers. And if you're thinking about how do I engage my employees, how do I connect to the community, I encourage you to reach out. We partner with companies of all sizes to tackle workforce development. And whether it's encouraging employees to be a traditional volunteer and going to a same classroom over the course of several weeks, if it's a one-day experience, getting a team together, a great team engagement opportunity, or if it's hosting a classroom of middle and high school students at your business. And companies like Dead River, Memic, even Holiday Inn by the Bay, where we are today, host these experiences. We have meaningful opportunities that take as little as an hour of your time. On Friday, myself and 12 other Scarborough alum are gonna go teach all of the 6th graders. And the program we're gonna teach focuses on high growth careers. It focuses on resume writing, interviewing skills, and how to find and keep a job. And while the volunteers are gonna be from all different industries and have all different jobs, we are all facilitating a hands-on activity and games that are really gonna engage these kids and help them think about their life now as a 6th grader and what they're gonna need in the real world. We've left some materials on your table today. Myself and colleague Jenna Jeffrey are here, along with many board members and Junior Achievement volunteers. So I encourage you to partner with us and see how you can really be part of an amazing effort to help prepare Maine's future workforce. And so with that, I am going to introduce our next speaker, Andrea Levinsky, who is going to talk a little bit about the work she is doing with her Portland High School students. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So my name is Andrea Levinsky, and I am the Extended Learning Opportunities Coordinator at Portland High School. And I'm also part of C3, which is the Community Coordinators Collaborative with folks from all across the state who partner with businesses and organizations. So this is going to be an example of what one school district does in this work. I'm going to be talking about our Youth Development Department programming, which mostly is at the high school level. Portland Public Schools centers on the Portland Promise, where all Portland Public Schools students will develop the skills, habits, and mindsets they need to engage in and contribute to our diverse city and ever-changing world. We have 4 goals to accomplish this: equity, achievement, whole student, and people. And youth development supports the whole student goal. We have 3 amazing programs that are in all 3 high schools, and we have students, faculty, and community partners here with us today. So thank you so much for coming, and they'd be happy to talk to you after the programming, in addition to our district staff. I'm going to give you an overview of each of the programs and then go into depth about how you can get involved. I'm going to begin with extended learning opportunities, of which I am the coordinator at Portland High School. We strive to bring together learning and real-world experiences for student growth and success. We do this in many different ways, through mock job interviews, job shadows, internships, capstones, which are independent research projects, career exploration programs, volunteering, and workshops and speakers. We partner with community businesses and organizations to provide real-world opportunities outside the classroom walls. These experiences can help guide students' areas of interest in a future career. We have some of the amazing business partners listed on this slide, and there's many more as well. Our impact is great. 30 students last year participated in internships at Portland High School, and this year there's over 40 students participating. All of Portland High School sophomores and all of Deering High School juniors go on a job shadow. All Portland High School freshmen have a mock job interview, and there are 13 students in our brand new law exploration program. And finally, all Portland Public Schools students complete a capstone. Make It Happen is our college access program for multilingual students, and this is also at all 3 high schools. Make It Happen strives to provide college and career readiness to students. They have volunteer coaches and tutors in addition to amazing staff who help students with academics, college admissions, scholarships, and financial aid information, and also connecting students to civic engagement and professional development opportunities for over 250 students. Our mentoring program is both at Deering and Portland High Schools and looks a little bit different at each one. At Deering High School, we have a peer-to-peer mentoring model where seniors mentor freshmen, and there are also connections with local colleges and elementary schools. At Portland High, we have adult student mentorships where students meet with their adult mentors at least once a week for an academic school year, but this is often a lifelong relationship. Over 270 Portland Public Schools students are participating in this program, and they work on academics, they go to social events, and also talk about post-secondary aspirations. And we have some of our partners listed for this program as well. So there's many ways to get involved. The first one is to be a mock job interviewer, and what that is you'll come in and you'll work with 3 ninth graders. Our ninth graders all take at Portland High School a freshman seminar, which includes a career exploration unit where they learn how to write a resume and they learn how to do job interviews. So we'll give you the questions, we'll give you the rubric, and you'll come in and interview the students, and we're currently recruiting for that. You can also be an academic coach or a tutor with Make It Happen. Come in, work with students on subjects in academics, work on their college essays, and help out in that program. You can also be a classroom speaker. You could talk about what you do for work. It could be connected to a course, or it could be a panel. We have had panels like careers in law, careers in business. We have a photo here from the Men of Color Conference, so lots of great ways to get involved. We're also really excited to have new initiatives and ideas. So if you say, hey, this is good, but I have this other idea I want to do, please talk to us and let us know. We have a brand new law exploration program that's taking place right now with Unum, Bernstein Schur, Drummond Woodsum, and the law school, and we're exploring some options for early CNA programming. Financial support is also really important. Even a small amount of money can make a huge difference in a student's ability to take part in these opportunities. They might need some clothes for a professional business attire or transportation to an internship. We could also use funding for busing, for job shadow days or ID cards, and figuring out how to do our early CNA program. Mentoring is also a great way to get involved. As I said before, you'll meet with a student once a week for an academic school year, but perhaps longer. You'll be able to go with them to social events like Portland Ovations, give them advice, talk about community college and career aspirations, and join a really amazing community of mentors and mentees. You can also host a job shadow or a career fair. We partner with Junior Achievement for this opportunity, and as Michelle talked about, you'll have a group of students come to your business for a day, provide lunch, and we also sometimes do individual shadows as well. The deepest way to get involved is to host an intern, and we have many students in the room who have completed internships. These are 45 hours per semester in all different fields, so marketing, auto, youth, the arts, finance, veterinary, nursing, and these are really individually tailored to each student. They would come into your office 2 to 4 hours per week and learn about your company. They start off by doing some shadowing and then do a project related to the field. So it could be something for a client, like we had a student at Brand Marketing do some artwork for one of their advertisements, or it could be a project related to the field, but not necessarily for a client. For example, we had a student at Tyler Carew Interior Designs design a room for a house. These internships allow students to earn credit at school, and most of them are unpaid. We have a lot of support from the school. There's a teacher mentor, I vet students, they have reflections, we have meetings about job skills, and there's a lot of communication and evaluation between myself and the business partners. They also give a presentation at the end of their experience. So what can you get out of this? You can help to grow the future workforce. You can help provide the skills that students need for the future. You can also meet and connect with prospective employees. Many of our students actually get hired after their internships. And you can also help diversify the workforce. Our students come from a variety of backgrounds, and this diverse perspective can make an impact on the workplace, even at entry-level jobs. I'd like to leave you with a quote from Lee Otto. Dustin Lee is one of our internship supervisors who's had interns for 2 years. He says, "It's a great opportunity for us to build relationships with Portland students who have interests in automotive. These students can gain real exposure to what it's like to work at our dealership. Hopefully they like it and will think of us when it comes time for them to start their careers." And remember, this is just one example of what one school district does. Many other school districts are doing this as well, and you'll find contact information for the coordinators across the state on your tables. Next, you're going to be hearing from Paul Stevens from SMRT Architecture and Engineering, who will talk about his personal experience with job shadows, internships, and mentoring.
Thanks, Andrea. And Jim, next time you can skip the 50-year thing. So it's a real pleasure for me to be here this morning and talk to all of you and all the students about our experience with the programs that Andrea has been talking about. It's a very timely topic for SMRT. We, like most of you here in this room, struggle to find qualified and skilled employees in this environment. Knowledge of our business is going to provide you with some context as to how we participate in these programs. SMRT is a pretty good-sized firm. We have 130 employees, which gives us a lot of capacity to expose students to different experiences, more so than many smaller firms. However, I should say that I did run into my friend Evan Carroll from Build Architecture this morning, who's a much smaller firm than we are, and discovered that Evan also has a student intern from Portland High School in his office, which I didn't previously know. As a multidisciplinary organization, we can expose students to a lot of different fields, which might not be true in some of the other businesses that they visit, and this exposes them to a lot of different career paths: architecture, interior design, structural, mechanical, and electrical engineering, and landscape architecture. And also, I think the significant size and variety of the projects that we do provide a lot of opportunity for very interesting engagement for the students, because our clients include people that you're very familiar with: Maine Medical Center, the University of Maine, WEX, and a very, very different experience for us working on the Nordic Aquafarms project. We've had really good experience engaging with high school students in most of the programs that Andrea talked about. I should say that individual job shadows have been less successful for us. And the problem with that, at least in our firm, is that most everybody these days is working on a computer. And if you have a job shadow come in and follow somebody around for a day, they may be just sitting watching a structural engineer, for example, doing calculations on a computer. And that is not a particularly rewarding experience for a student, for sure. So that what we found is that the group student visits have been really successful. That's 10 or 12 students that Andrea spoke about that would come in for half a day. And we've done this with both Portland High School as well as Yarmouth High School and some other schools. These do require some advanced planning to be successful. And we program a full 4 hours for the students. And they come in, we all get together and talk a little bit about our business as a whole, not only the sort of technical sides, but also the soft sides in terms of administration and marketing, in addition to all the architectural and engineering disciplines. And then after doing that, depending on what the interests are of the students who have come in, what we'll do is we will break them up into smaller groups in the area of their interest, whether it be it structural engineering or interior design or whatever. And then following that, we all get together for lunch. We show some inspiring TED Talk videos about design to get students excited and interested, and then we all have pizza together, which works just great. So what this does, it makes for a really fast day for the students and an interesting day. And the other thing it does for us is that it enables us to break up the time for our employees so that we don't have any one employee spending a lot of time working on this. So it really works out extremely well. We've always had college kids as interns in our office, and I think we routinely have 6 or 8 students from places like Wentworth and the University of Maine come into our office during the summer. But this last year was our first experience with a high school intern, thanks to Andrea. And when we had the group visit with Portland High School last year, there was one student that really stood out to us. She asked a lot of questions. She was very engaged in what we were talking about. And then after everybody went back, a few days later, Andrea called me up and she said, "Would you like to take one of those students as an intern?" And we had never had a high school intern before. And I said, "Yeah, sure." And we want this young lady right here. Sorry to embarrass you, Hui. Hui Dananga. But Hui is a sophomore, was a sophomore then, and she just immigrated here unaccompanied from Angola. And was learning English very, very, very quickly. She had had some previous architectural classes there, interestingly enough, in middle school, so she had a little bit of a head start. She's now a junior. She's been coming into our office for more than a year. She comes in 4 hours a week every Wednesday afternoon. We paired her up with a young architect in our office who has developed some projects for her to work on. And during the course of this last year, she's really developed some good sketching and computer modeling skills, which are helping her to build a portfolio that we can use, hopefully, for her college applications. So, but this is a personal story for me that goes way beyond the office, because as I got to know Hui over the last year, we developed a mentorship relationship, and I began taking her to lectures outside the office and other events that might have something to do with design. I'm also advising her on her course selections and a myriad of other things, helping her and her sisters navigate adjusting to life here in the United States. Her success has been extraordinarily satisfactory for me. She's excelling in honors classes. She serves on the student council. And the next thing on our agenda is trying to figure out where to go to college. The benefits for this, as you can tell, extend both ways. I think for the students, we're hoping we open their minds to the possibility of many different opportunities in the design fields. The first and foremost benefit for this is for the larger design community, our larger design community, in terms of workforce development. And I think both Evan and myself hope some of these kids will come back and work for us at some point in time. Many of them will return to us as college interns, we hope. And then many of them will return to work for us after graduation, which we see very frequently, frankly. So I think that more than what the students get out of it, I think it's what we as employers and personally get out of this. And I think we really get more out of it than they do. So thank you, and I'm going to turn it back to Jane at this point.
Move some papers here. So I hope that you have gotten just a little bit of an idea about what can happen when employers and businesses get together with public schools, pre-K through 12. You heard a lot about what happens at the high school, but we do have programs that range all throughout the school systems. So we would love it if anybody had any questions at this point. There are 3 microphones. If you could make your way to one of the microphones, tell us who you are, what business you're with, and we can direct a question to the appropriate person sitting up here. I have a couple of questions. I'm going to hand that to you, if I could please, get that out of the way. A lot of times an employer will wonder, how are we supported? If we are sending a student to you, what is our obligation and what is your obligation for the support of that student and for telling us what we need to do? So I might ask everybody up here if they could give us a little idea about what the supports are in place that you would be provided if you chose to be a partner, either with JA or with an internship.
Sure. With Junior Achievement, we do training. So every new volunteer coming in, we make sure you get an individualized training, whether that's in person, on the phone, through some training videos, to really make sure that you're comfortable with the curriculum, you understand the expectations. The teacher is always in the room with you as well, so they understand you are not trained teachers yourself, so they are there to provide guidance and help while you lead the activities. So a lot of training on our end.
Yeah, myself and my colleagues from around the state are very supportive of our partners. I know for myself, I have regular meetings before we have an internship or a job shadow. We have pretty clear expectations, and I'm also available at any time to think through projects, give examples of what other people have done. I am in constant communication with the internship supervisors, checking in, make sure it's okay. I also check in with the students often. So I'm able to provide as much or as little support as needed for the internship folks and the job shadow folks as well, even from building a schedule, giving ideas of what to have the intern do. So every step of the way, myself and my colleagues are there.
Call Andrea.
Pardon?
Call Andrea.
All Andrea. We will hear sometimes from a business person, we're not teachers. I wouldn't know what to do with students. I don't know how to interact with students, but these are other supports that you will receive from both the C3 community, the internship folks, and from Junior Achievement. So I don't know if there was any hesitation on your part before you agreed to taking that student and how we were able to assuage those fears.
No, I think the only concern that we experience is that, well, people say, how are we going to spend the time to do this? But I think we found, with the exception of myself who plan these events, we spend some time thinking about how to make it work best. The rest of our employees really don't spend a lot of time on this, and talking about being shy about interacting with students, that's not hard at all. It really isn't. I mean, our people just had a great time talking with the kids the last time that we did this, and about everything, about not only in terms of what their job entails, but how did they happen to get into the field that they got into, where did they go to school, where would they recommend these students be thinking about school, lots of stuff. It's really easy to talk to students.
And I think one thing that business people find out is that their experience, how they got to where they are, is enormously important and interesting to the students. A lot of students think, I'm in high school, I have no idea what I want to do, and they're kind of worried about their future. It's interesting for them to hear that for many people, it wasn't a straight path. There might have been a winding road to where they are at that point, and any of that information that you can share with students is very useful to them as they decide, maybe I'll try this, maybe I'll start this. I would also point out that when we do job shadows for our 8th graders, there are many times when a student really thought they wanted to be a veterinarian and then shadowed for a day and realized it's not what they want to do at all. And many of these experiences are as valuable for a student learning what they don't want to do as what they do want to do. So that's, you know, even, and we had a student, we always ask them to write thank you notes at the end of their experience, and a student wrote to the host and said, thank you so much, now I know what I never, ever, ever want to do in my life. We helped the student with the language a little bit, but it was still an important message for that person who hosted. Any other questions? Here we go.
Sure. Todd Beecham with Bank of America. I think this is probably for you, Andrea. It seems like there's so much focus in the internship world on post-secondary, college degree, those type of things. And a lot of the companies that we work with have so many job openings that really don't require a college degree and pay extremely well. How much time and effort do you put into trying to develop internships sort of in that non-college bound sector?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for the question. I'm really proud that my program is truly representative of all students at Portland High School, both racially, demographically, but also with different aspirations, top of the class, bottom of the class, middle of the class, and it's really tailored to each student. So Lee Auto is a really great example. They could go on to technical school. They're really in all different fields. We have an awesome partnership with Avesta Housing in their maintenance department. We actually had a student last year who did an internship with Avesta and was hired full-time after graduation and worked there until he left for the military. So yes, absolutely, working on all sorts of pipelines, all different degrees of work, and really serving all of the students.
And I would say that, I'm sorry, for the other C3s in the group, we all have a very strong connection with the tech, with the career, the technical skilled trades, and it's not just the post-secondary, it is any kind of trajectory toward a career or a job or something that might lead ultimately to a higher education, but we all are very entrenched and committed to the pipeline for all those experiences for students.
And we also, for C3, we have a great partnership with the Maine Manufacturing Association. So we have a really great relationship with them. We bring them into schools all the time. We bring kids out on job shadows, so that's a really great way to work with folks as well.
The other program that Portland High School is involved with, which Andrea didn't mention, is the ACE program, which I think some of you are familiar with, which is architects, contractors, and engineers. And this is a program that takes place one afternoon every week, and it's a very active organization. And that program, in addition to training architects and engineers, is interested in getting students into the trades as well. And they do things like learn to lay bricks and pound nails and as well as design stuff. So.
And we started a chapter, an ACE chapter at South Portland High School this year with our friends from Scarborough. And one of our student interns who is here today was in the ACE program and was actually offered a paid internship by an architecture firm after the ACE program. So they're, oh, excuse me. Hi, Margaret.
Should I walk over there?
Yes, please. No, you're okay. We can hear you.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah.
Okay. So, hi, Jane. My name is Margaret. I work for Southern Maine Community College, and I have a lot of students that are coming to me looking for job shadows, and I only know one company right now that's doing an active job shadow, which is Martin's Point. They're doing a really great job, and I'm interested in learning how you conduct the job shadows, what the process is, and I actually have some prospective high school students, their parents are calling me, asking for their daughters and sons to do job shadowing. So I'm interested to learn a little bit more about that. That's my first question. My second question is, do you work with other area high schools, more rural high schools? Because I think they'd be interested in doing these programs as well.
The answer to the first question is pretty complicated, and it really involves establishing relationships with businesses all throughout the region. And one of the comments I was going to make in conclusion is that it might seem that we are all after the same hosts, after the same resources. We're not in competition with each other. We work together to find those hosts. And once we identify a host, we share that name, share that resource. So actually, Margaret, you and I can talk, and I can kind of explain to you how that process works. But it's a lot of meeting people, knocking on doors, explaining programs, and getting them involved. And yes, we are involved with high schools. We invite high schools for the C3 organization, for our group. We are constantly looking for new partners and welcoming them to the table. Any other?
Yeah, I'd love to shout out to JA. Last year when I was new to my position, we send out all 250 sophomores on the same day, which is challenging. And I called Junior Achievement and said, hey, can you help me pick up some job shadows? And they have really awesome relationships. So they're another great partner. We sent them to Portland Downtown and Key Bank and Dead River. And I'm also happy to share contacts as well. So Junior Achievement is awesome for that.
And another model is JA in a Day, where WEX hosted all of our 7th graders for a day looking at different careers. I'm getting the little signal there from Tommy, meaning that we have to wrap up. This has just been such a wonderful opportunity for us. We have wanted to do this for a long time. This group of people who depend on you as business owners and employers to really know who we are, how we can work together. And so I would just say contact JA, information on the table, C3 information on the table. And for all of us in the room here today, let's learn, work, and grow Maine together. Thank you so much for your attention.
Great job. Thank you to Jane. Thank you to all of our panelists. We really, really appreciate your words today, your work in the community. I feel inspired. I know many of us here feel inspired. So again, thank you to our panelists. And I should apologize to Paul. When I said he had worked for 50 years, I neglected to mention that he too started as an intern at the age of 8 at SMRT. So really modeling the behavior that we've come to expect. Now, remember to please stay up to date with all of our events by subscribing to our newsletter and following the Chamber across all major social media platforms. Upcoming event lists are also available on your tables and at registration tables out front. We look forward to seeing you again at our next Eggs and Issues in April, on April 8th, Owning the Solution, in-house workforce training program. So thank you, stay safe, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much.